feel like everybody that establishes a relationship with God, they still have room for growth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like you can grow every day with maintaining a relationship with God. However, I feel as if my relationship with God now is as better as it ever has been.
Mm-hmm.
Even while dancing, like I feel like my relationship was there, but it's not how it is now. And I'm grateful that God put me through the situations that He did. I'm grateful for those accidents. I'm grateful for Jacksonville. I'm grateful for everything that I went through in Jacksonville, because if I would have never went through that, I would have still had the, the straddling the fence mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was still been dancing, but probably still out in the club, still drinking, still doing everything that I know I'm not supposed to be doing. So as of right now, I would say that my relationship with God is good. I'm not gonna say great, because it's always room for growth. However, like I said it before, I'm grateful for everything He has put me through, and all the things that I had to face, the consequences and stuff, because it didn't do nothing but make me stronger in my faith, to know that God is working everything out for my good, and that if He is for me, who could ever be against me?
Absolutely.
So
a relationship with substance now.
Right.
Wow.
And I actually fear God now.
Yeah.
Because back then I'm not gonna say I didn't fear Him, but I always thought that the grace was like long lasting, like it was never gonna run out. And I think that's what most people need to understand. Like, His grace is sufficient, but it can't run out.
Yes, His grace is sufficient. And when we talk about fearing God, right? We talk about, and it's so crazy because this is what I taught last Sunday. We talk about reverence. Like reverencing, like this, like we talking about the man. I'm just using that term, but we talking about the Spirit of Yah, right? Who created all. We talking about the beginning and the end. We talking about the one who took Himself, wrapped it in flesh, right? Took on flesh, and then sacrificed that flesh for us. Got beat, got ripped, got torn. Like, so when we talk about who He is, like the fact that we reverence and that He's so holy, like He's so holy, the angels even reverence that He's so holy too, and they turn their face. You know what I mean? So it's like fears from the respect, the honor, and the reverence of who He is.
But you have to have respect for Him.
If
you don't, I mean, that's just all about having a relationship with Him.
Absolutely.
Fearing Him. And I feel like most people on the outside world, they think, why do I have to fear God if God is for me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah. I used to say that, if God my daddy, why do
I have to fear Him? Like, He's supposed to be for me. He's supposed to be this almighty God. He's supposed to be gentle. He's supposed to be loving. Why do I have to fear Him? But God, you can also experience the wrath of God.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand that either.
They don't. And because when you realize how sovereign He is, that's enough to fear Him. That's enough to when He come into a room, because you know who He is, that's why you lay on your face.
Right.
That's why you surrender. That's why you give it all up. That's why you let go, because of how sovereign He is. To where anything like P talked about with the lady with the issue of blood, like He's so sovereign that she didn't even touch all of Him.
She touched it,
like
Him of His garment.
And people don't realize, like, because she feared Him, it caused her to push the way she did. Because you gotta remember, she's bleeding.
Right.
So she really could have been killed and cast out for being amongst people, because during that time they seen people as unclean.
Right.
So she's touching all of these people making them unclean.
Right.
But because she knew that if I just, like, she knew he was so sovereign, if I just get my fingernail on the tip of his heel and scratch some skin off,
she knew she could heal.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy. But at the same time, when that story, because I'm studying that story right now, it's crazy, and it gets me so excited, because God, when she touched him, he asked who touched him.
Yeah.
Out of all the people that was around,
yeah.
and one of the disciples, I think it was Peter, he asked Jesus, he was like, what do you mean he touched you? And all these people are around you.
For sure.
And he just felt the power of healing go out of him.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And,
the virtue. Yeah.
Right. And that right there alone is powerful, because it was her faith that healed her. It was the fact that she believed in God and that she wanted to know more about him. That's what healed her. And I feel like if we have that same faith, then we can start to reverence God and, build a relationship with God better.
Yes, because that's what this is all about, faith. You can't have this relationship without the faith.
Right.
You have to, and it starts by believing. In Romans, it's talking about confessing with your mouth and believing with your heart that this is your Savior. And so it's like that believing part is the beginning of it. And when you believe, right, he reveals.
Right.
Because she could have touched him without no faith.
Right.
By him being sovereign, he still could have healed her because he's sovereign. But at the same time, it was her faith that, because you got to think about it. It's like you go to a concert, all of these people. Because people really be downplaying Yeshua. They be downplaying him like he really didn't bring. Like we talking about 20 to 30,000 people.
Right.
That's no different than a rapper at a concert.
Right.
And imagine that rapper being placed in the middle of those sea of people. And this lady, she just knew, she heard that he was here. So you got to think too, she probably don't even really know exactly where at.
Right.
So she's pushing through these people, searching. People really don't be putting, they really be playing with this thing.
They do.
Right? And she had so much faith that, man, I know right now I'm making all these people unclean.
Right.
But if I find him and touch him, I ain't got to worry about going to jail. I ain't got to worry about being cast because I know I'm getting healed and I'm going to be straight.
Right.
And, bro, people...
And at the same time, I had to read more, because I guess in the law of Moses, it states that if the woman with the discharge of blood, if they're bleeding more than 7 days, or if they're bleeding at all, they're considered unclean.
Absolutely.
So when she touched Jesus, did she think that he was going to be unclean as well? That's the question that played in my mind.
That's a really good question.
That's the question that played in my mind.
That's a really good. Oh man, you just brought something up, because man, we're gonna get into a whole Bible study, but that's why I'm letting it rock. That's so crazy, because if he's the sovereign one, the holy one, her faith said, her faith challenged her, because it's like, what if I touch him and then this don't work?
Right.
And he unclean.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, people don't think about that.
Right.
That really could have been the case. Crazy faith for her to be unclean, knowing that when she touched people, they become unclean by the law.
Right.
She said, I'm still gonna touch them.
Right.
Because I done heard about them.
Right. And she discovered the great works that he was doing for other people.
Yes.
And the thing is, he was on the way to perform another great miracle.
Yeah.
But instead he stopped in his tracks because he felt someone touching amongst everybody that was out there. And I feel like I can use that story along, like, for me, because it's like I used to think I was unclean. Like, I was in the world doing all the stuff that I was doing, and God used me. God gave me this vision of the season of her redemption. Like I stated earlier, God, how can you use me and I'm unclean? But He used that vision for me to not only, expose myself and let people know, hey, I went through the same thing that you're going through, but He also healed me and He also made me new. So the woman with the issue of blood, her faith, like you said, that she had crazy faith.
Her faith got his attention.
Right.
For him to stop. Bro, somebody, hold on, y'all, chill out. Somebody just touched me.
Mm-hmm. And Peter.
I'm rocking with Peter though. Cause look, all these people, like for real though, we the disciples, so we pushing people back. We trying to create a little space for my boy to walk through, and he started talking about who touched me. Bro, you asking me that? Why? Yahweh, you asking me how I'm supposed to know?
Right.
It's a million people touching me too. You know?
I mean, I get that, but you gotta think about who Jesus was at the time. Like, He was sovereign. He was this almighty. Like, people wanted to be around Him, obviously, because they experienced what He was doing for other people.
Yeah.
I can understand that. However, I don't know. Maybe I gotta go read it again. I gotta go read it again. Because he kind of made me mad with that.
Yeah, Peter was crazy. But nah, man, so you done mentioned visions a couple of times. So what's some new things He got working with you?
So a part 2 of the Let's Talk.
Okay, talk about the first. Go ahead and promote. Talk about the first one that went on.
So everybody, I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but Let's Talk sexual immorality and killing lust. I'm planning another one, but it's going to be the Let's Talk of self-discovery and how can we discover ourselves first before we can get into the subjects of other stuff and why other stuff can let me see how to put this because I'm still working on it.
Mm-hmm.
But basically self-discovery, I'm not going to tell it all, but self-discovery. I'm trying to plan it for next year.
Okay.
And hopefully it can come into fruition mid-February, early March.
Yeah, cool. It was lit. It was real lit.
Yeah.
It was a big turnout. A panel, a young lady, 23, virgin. It was me, myself, Taylor, and a guy named Brandon, young guy, married. And we talked about a lot. We talked about the real of sex. We talked about sex in the world, sex in the church, sex from the Bible's perspective, from the Bible's layout of it, the damages that comes from it. Like we really got into a lot. So
but that was time for self-discovery.
Yeah. Understanding self.
Right.
Yeah. So it's gonna be good, man. Y'all definitely, man, stay tell your Facebook page that way they can stay locked in on.
So my Facebook, I'm gonna get back on social media. My Facebook is Taylor Owens, my full name. Be on the lookout for the dates. I haven't came up with a specific date yet. I think we said something about February.
I think the
Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah, the day after. It was either the day after or the day before Valentine's.
Yeah,
something like that.
But I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking about it because I want everybody to be available because I want this whole church to be packed. Yeah. Because we're gonna come and we're gonna come with good stuff, and I want everybody to hear it because it may be for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor Owens. Man, look, this was a great conversation. We definitely gonna do a part 2 because there's another part of her story that we didn't talk about today, but it's definitely fruitful as well. So man, I'm glad you came. I'm glad you shared your story, and I know for a fact that people was touched by it. If you got any last remarks, any comments, anything you want to tell the people before we close out?
Yeah, I'm grateful to be a part of this. I never did something like this before. And I've never, told my story like this because I used to be so embarrassed to tell my story because of the things that I would do on the outside, like me dancing, like how that would be like, for the group, like how that would dim the light of the group, of the dance group, dance with a purpose. But in reality, God, I was put through so much. I'm not gonna say put through so much, but I've been through so much to not tell my story. So I'm glad that you gave me the opportunity to tell it. And like he said, it is a part 2 because I haven't said everything, but I'm glad. I'm excited. I'm excited for the part 2. I'm excited to tell more.
For sure. Cool. With that being said, line out, Roy. Line out.